Beth Ann.
What's up? I'm Ayla.
This is Let's Talk BL, a boys love podcast.
Welcome back to the podcast. It is Sunday, a very special day of the week. It's time for another Sunday special. We are back into the deep dives.
I'm so excited.
Yes. Shout out to everybody that has been interacting with these, because it's been so fun to see all of the extra facts and extra information that everyone is sharing beyond what we found or what we know. So thank you guys. That's been awesome. Please keep it up, because I love it. It makes me feel like when we first started the podcast, when we were just trying to make BL friends. Yeah. It feels like we're getting back to that, because it's please help me. I like this boy and you like this boy, and let's talk about this boy, right?
It's also fun because there seems to be a shift in the BL fandom between the people who are I just want to see these cute boys kiss and interact, and we're really starting to appreciate acting and people as individual actors. And so it's fun to see that there is a place for people who are just I appreciate this person's acting and I appreciate this person's talent. And it's not sure, we love the fan service, sure, we love the ship work, but we also can appreciate when they work really hard to become a character.
Yeah.
And so it's cool to see we can appreciate who this person is as a person, as far as we know them as a person, but also we can appreciate the acting.
Yes. So if this is your first week on a Sunday special, the way that the deep dives work is that one of us chooses a boy that we love so much, and we educate the other on who this person is, their background, their acting, all of the fun stuff that you kind of want to know as you get into an actor. Yeah. And so this week was my turn. Yeah. It was my turn to talk about a boy that I love, and I chose one of the original actors that I ever sort of fell for when I first got into BL. I remember this series was one of the first series I ever watched. His debut series was one of the first series I ever watched. Yeah. His was the first merch I ever ordered.
Yes. Oh my God. The journey that was that first merch order.
And that was just the craziest experience. And he has had a journey in his own sort of entertainment world journey, basically. Yeah. And so I'm excited to talk about it. You all probably know this actor from Pit Babe, but I know him from long before that. Today we were talking about Pon.
I'm so excited. Yeah, he was one of the first boys that I feel we both watched his little web series. And I think, did I find it or did you find the web series?
No, I found it. Yeah. This was one of my first side quests.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then that was a rabbit hole that
yes,
never ended.
Yes.
It was very cute.
Okay, so let's get into it. We're talking about Pon today. Again, you probably know him from Pit Babe.
And now Long Beans.
Right. Long Beans is his currently airing series. The show is out right now. It's currently airing. So his full-time name is Thanapon Chai, which is, it's a very difficult. I had to look at the Thai a few times, and I'm still not positive I'm pronouncing it properly, even though I read the Thai characters. Next thing that's...
Wait, the funniest thing about his name is that during SUPERBOY...
We're going to get to that. We're going to
talk about his name later?
We're going to talk about that. We're going to get to that. No. This is my show right now, Beth Ann. Okay, Pon. Thanapon Chai. His hometown, this one was kind of difficult because it's not actually listed anywhere. Even on any of his fan club profiles, it's not actually listed anywhere. I had to do some actual research on this one. Yeah. And so I'm not positive. And if you know, please comment if I get this wrong. I did it based on where he went to kindergarten, because the internet has where he went to kindergarten, but not his actual hometown.
Sure.
Naturally.
I find that's true of the boys who grew up in a quote unquote suburb of Bangkok.
Right. So he's from Bangkok because his kindergarten was in Bangkok. So I'm going to say he's from Bangkok. I can't imagine his parents, because it's pretty common in Thailand to send your kids to Bangkok for school once they're in high school or even sometimes middle school. But I feel at least based on what I've seen, it's less common to send them away as like kindergartners.
Yeah.
So if he went to kindergarten in Bangkok, I feel pretty confident that his hometown is Bangkok.
Or maybe he's from like Nonthaburi or something, but like, you know, Bangkok.
Yeah. Nonthaburi, again, we've had this debate on the podcast before and no one ever actually answered. So maybe if this is your first episode, do you consider Nonthaburi Bangkok? Because Nonthaburi is just a suburb of Bangkok. But everybody in Thailand is like, Nonthaburi is not Bangkok.
Right.
But like, if you look at the map and as people that have been to Bangkok, like it's not any further away than going to like, I don't know, like honestly, in some cases, it's not even any further away than going to like Yawarat or like Icon Siam, depending on where you are in the city.
Yeah.
So like,
because I would say
I say it's still Bangkok. I don't know.
I would say Nonthaburi is as far from like the Siam area of Bangkok as Rangsit is.
Yeah.
And so many people live and work and do things in Rangsit.
In Rangsit, yeah. But if you have an opinion, if you know, please comment and tell us. Okay. Technically his debut year, and this is a technically because I also have a note here, but his like debut as an actor. I went with his debut as an actor because that's what we've been going with. So his debut as an actor was in 2020 with The Moment I Need You, which is the series that he did with Bang Tanateep. Mm-hmm. That was his debut as an actor. That was the first time he ever acted. However, in 2019, he was on some of those like reality game show things that Thailand has. Okay. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. The ones that are like, is this person single? Yeah. He wasn't on that one, but those types of shows. Okay. The little like game shows. Yeah. He was on a few of those. Okay. In 2019. And then most notably, pre-acting debut, he was on Superboy, and we will get to Superboy because I want to go through his filmography before we like. I've actually grouped Superboy in music, not in filmography.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
because as we have learned, so many of the Star Hunter boys were musicians and started as musicians and then fell into the acting, right? Because of COVID.
And if you watch our Element interview, our first one with them, we actually talk about this with them, and they're like, "Yeah, actually, we just wanted to be singers, and then like they like." The acting thing fell in our laps. Yeah,
which is like, I know Star Hunter from the acting,
not the music,
and the music came secondary. And so it's always interesting to hear time and time again, specifically with Star Hunter, that they got into the music first.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, so I have Superboy listed under music, so we are, don't you worry. Longtime listeners of Let's Talk BL are like, are they going to talk about Superboy? Obviously we'll talk about Superboy. And if you don't know about Superboy,
I don't remember.
You are about to get an education.
I don't remember what number Pon was.
Neither do I. Oh no, I should have looked it up. I didn't think to look it up. I only remember Nung God Bibet.
Was he Nung?
No.
I think Bonus was 4.
Yeah, Bonus was 4.
Because 4 is my favorite number, obviously.
I know that the Banks were 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's right. So maybe Pon was 3?
I don't remember. Or no, I want to say he was like 11 or 12, actually.
I feel like
I want to say that Pon was like 11 or 12.
Okay, continue to educate us, and I will Google this.
Yeah. So filmography, though, we're talking about him as an actor. We're talking about Pon as an actor. So typically we go oldest to newest, but for this one I'm switching it up. I want to go newest to oldest because I think that it's like serves as a good reminder of like, oh yeah, I did just see him in this. So currently he's in Long Beans, which actually the full title of the show, if you're trying to look it up to watch it, is This Love Doesn't Have Long Beans.
Yeah.
Is the full title, and he's main character with Silub. And then of course right before that was Pit Babe, again paired with Silub. He was in Make a Wish, and then he was in 2 series. Very few series in Thailand get 2 seasons, and we were truly granted a miracle with the 2 seasons of Gen Y. He was in Gen Y and Gen Y season 2, and he played a very important role in Gen Y.
Wild storyline he had.
Crazy storyline. And you listen, okay, if you go back and watch, I think it's our series Sunday for Gen Y season 2, or maybe it's just Gen Y. I go on a tangent about how Gen Y is actually a really good show. And you have to, here's the thing, is you have to binge it. And you have to binge from season 1 to the end of season 2. Like, you need the full circle because it does get very full circle. Anyways, great series. 10 out of 10. Don't Google it, because if you look it up, a lot of people like to hate on Gen Y. It's unnecessary. Okay, just like give it a chance.
Was his storyline mainly in season 1?
Yes.
Yeah. Was he much in season 2?
No.
I didn't think
because
so.
at that point, so in season 1, he's like one of the little high schoolers, like with God's group.
Right.
And then they graduate, and then they're in college with the older boys. They all
Right.
go to university with the older boys. And that's when God's character really, like, kind of takes over. Like, God has a really prominent role. Out of all the high school boys, God has the most prominent role. But Pon is Copter's little brother.
Right.
And so his role, like, he's still there. He's still around.
Yeah.
But, like, his whole mystical storyline happens in season 1.
Is there an implication between Tanateep and Pon somewhere in season 2 as, like, a nod to
No,
their
I wanted there to be,
partnership?
but there wasn't.
Okay, I couldn't
Yeah.
remember if they, like...
I kept, like, waiting for it.
Yeah.
But no, they don't set it up.
Okay.
Because, of course, being Tanateep in Gen Y is, like, the ultimate villain. Especially once we get into season 2. Like, he's pretty bad in season 1, but in season 2, he becomes this, like, Avenger character. Like, yeah.
Justice warrior.
Yeah, he be wilding from like episode 1 season 1 to last episode season 2.
Tanateep for Batman.
Yeah.
He'd be a great Batman.
And then right before this, which this is another unique thing, I actually looked this up and I could not find. Now tell me if I'm wrong. Please comment and tell me if I'm wrong, because I could be, because I did, like, I may have left someone out when I was trying to look this up. But as far as I know, Pon is the only Pon and Bank Tanateep are the only actors to have 2 series that had 2 seasons that they were in back to back. So so right before Gen Y season 1 and Gen Y season 2, he was in The Moment I Need You and The Moment Since, which is a 2-season series. And then they immediately followed up with another 2-season series. And as far as I could find, they are the only 2 Thai actors, the only couple that had 2-season back-to-back series.
Booked and busy.
Yes, as far as I know, which I think is a very cool, like, little factoid, especially when you think about, like, at this time, they were both signed to Star Hunter, and they definitely were not the star power behind Star Hunter at that point. At that point, it was SB5. Which of course was like Kim Cop. Kim Cop was the big like couple power behind Star Hunter at that point.
For sure.
But before that, like, Kim Cop was the main storyline in Gen Y, but they didn't have a 2-season show right before.
Right.
And so it's just interesting that, like, at least I never thought of Bank Pon as, like, the star power behind Star Hunter, but, like, Star Hunter clearly did.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
Everything has had 1 season. Because even, like, Bankbo had 1-season shows.
Yeah, even the people that were in, right, like, all of the people that were in Gen Y, they didn't have one before or after that was a 2-seasoner.
They just
that I could find. Again, that I could find. I could be wrong.
They just really needed Gen Y to be complete.
Yeah. And I'm not just talking about Star Hunter either. Like, I looked up, like, GMMTV boys. I looked up the Mundi boys. I looked up, like, all of the, like, Wabi Sabi, like, Me Mind Y. Like, I looked at, because I was like, ooh, maybe, like, a Tarn type actor had this.
Yeah.
But no. Not that I could find.
Because you do have, yeah, Me Mind Y is the only series, the only other company that I can think of that did 2 full seasons of a show. Because, like, Cutie Pie had, like, their special.
Right.
Right. That wasn't a full series. That was, like, a 4-part special. Because you have Tarn Type season 1 and season 2. And then you have the spinoff of that, which was Don't Say No. But there wasn't Joffers didn't have, like, another season of Don't Say No.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
And also, Joffers were not in Tarn Type season 1 because they were one I thought of, right? Remember, I was like, I think it might be Tarn Type, as I was like, oh, yeah, John first then had Don't Say No, but Don't Say No didn't have a season 2. And also, they were only in season 1 of Tarn Type.
Season 2 of Tarn Type.
Yeah, season 2. They were not in season 1 of Tarn Type.
We haven't really gotten many season 2s of literally anything.
Of anything. I know. That's why I was like, this is a really unique thing. Like, go Pon. Like, that's crazy. And Bing Tanateep.
Yeah,
nobody
cool.
thinks of that. Like, it's also, like, a nice little, like, go Bank. Yeah.
Yeah, BL history is so interesting to look at. Like, even in the last 5 years,
Yeah.
BL has really changed and like evolved and done different things for better or for worse. I feel like it would be nice to get a season 2. I don't like some of these characters. It'd be nice to continue on.
Yeah.
I wish they wouldn't like move on to the next thing so fast.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like with GMMTV, for example, because I did, even though it wasn't a full series, like I did with Cutie Pie, like even though it was 4, like I still counted that. I was like, yeah, that's kind of, and then I did look at like Our Skies, right, to see if like anybody had a, but that was it, because like GMMTV never did, except for like, I did look at all of the people in Friend Zone.
Oh. Well, Together.
And Together,
had 2 seasons.
But nobody moved on to something right before that had 2 seasons, right? Like, and like The Gifted. I also looked at The Gifted because you had The Gifted and The Gifted Graduation.
Yeah.
So like, I tried my best to track down anybody else that has done this where it was back to back like that.
Oh, side note, Up was in the Gifted movie. I didn't even know there was a Gifted movie.
Yeah.
It was in a series. I was like, oh. My mind is blown.
Yeah. So as far as I could find, I did my best. I could not find anyone else with the honor of having two season back to back, right?
I love that.
Shout out Pon. And I think it makes a lot of sense. Pon is honestly such a good actor, and he has been since the very first thing he popped up in, which is The Moment I Need You. If you have not watched this, I highly recommend this series. It was incredible.
I've rewatched that series so many times.
Yeah, me too. It's so good.
So good. Do you like season 1 or season 2 better?
Season 1.
Yeah.
The Moment I Need You is just like, it's iconic. The Moment since is good, but like, I did really love it, and I love these characters, especially for Pon and Bank. But I think that they kind of forced the like drama a little too much, the conflict. Yeah. And then also like, I think because I watched it so early on, there were some like cultural things that didn't make a lot of sense to me. So you know, potentially if I like rewatched it now, I might be like, oh yeah, but no, season 1 was just so good.
I'm thinking I need to rewatch it now. It's behind the paywall on Star Hunter, right?
Yes.
Isn't that where you have to find it?
Yeah. And I like it, honestly, the best thing about watching Pon in The Moment I Need You, which is the first season, is that like you get an intro to him. And I just remember being just like floored the minute this man appears on the screen in the show. And he has
blonde hair.
Right. And he's mixing a drink. He's like a bartender in the show.
He seems so
And
grown,
he's just like so cool, like mixing this drink. And he just like, he does this like hair flip. It's like a slow motion situation, like when you first meet him in the show. And I was just like, yup. I'm in. I'm sold. He plays with bunnies in the show. Like, come on. They look at shooting stars together. It is magical. It's an incredible really series. I really recommend it. 10 out of 10. No notes.
Pon was B12.
Yes. I see. I remember I was like, he's 11 or 12. Yeah. He's at the end. Yeah.
But he was number 1 Superboy, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. Because, and we'll get to that with the music, but Pon was the most winning person on Superboy. Like he won the most challenges, like from week to week.
Okay.
But we'll get to that. So
now I'm curious. I don't know anything about his music, like solo, if he has any.
Yeah, I did want to talk a little bit. Like that was his filmography, but I did want to mention the like little reality shows he was on.
Yeah.
And so one of them is actually pretty popular. It's that Guess My Age show. And the episode is on YouTube. He also was on Hollywood Game Night Thailand. I could not find that one. So if you want to watch it, I don't know what to tell you because I couldn't find it.
Cute.
He also had he's also been on a bunch of like little YouTube like shows and stuff, right? Like Soul, like right, like he was on So Sat Soul Say and stuff like that. The ones that I highly recommend is, again, this is behind a paywall on Star Hunter. Yeah. But the Star Hunter paywall is so cheap. I really do recommend like paying for that.
Yeah.
They did this like thing during COVID where they were like cooking at home.
I remember this. It was so bad. They're such bad cooks. As in, like, the content is excellent, but like I remember like didn't Tora make ramen?
How dare you?
Struggled.
God made tacos, first of all, and it was incredible. It was like, honestly, but Pon's is really cute too. Like, I highly recommend watching it. It was really good. Yeah, and he like went to the store and he like found cheese and he was like really hyped on finding the cheese. Oh, it was amazing. Which, as somebody that's been to the supermarket with God, this actually, like, honestly is it. Iconic. This man is iconic in a supermarket, you guys. This is not a God deep dive, although that has been requested, and don't worry, it's coming.
I know we've both gotten God and bonus deep dives. We will
don't,
get there,
Don't
guys.
worry, it's coming. I'm just waiting until God's show comes out. Gosh. Anyways, I do really recommend watching Pon's episode of the like cooking at home situation. Yeah. And then, of course, if you haven't watched Boy's Journey, which was the thing that Change did right before Pit Babe came out because there was so much hype around the Pit Babe auditions.
Yeah.
I also highly recommend going on YouTube and or Twitter and looking up the Pit Babe audition tapes because they are out there. And everybody remembered Pavel's because Pavel is like I mean he plants one on Pooh, right? He's like, we gonna make out today. And so everybody remembers Pavel's, but Pon's is out there too, and like I think it really showcases his acting ability. So
yeah, I don't remember watching his.
Yeah, I didn't either until I went to look it up for this.
I remember watching Pops because obviously P-pop.
Oh my god.
And there's also a ton of Superboy.
Yeah, there's so much Superboy.
They literally
content.
just live streamed most of like the behind the scenes.
Yeah, they just like
Superboy.
sat around. There's like daily live streams. So Superboy does have its own YouTube channel. This can bring us into the music because I am done with the filmography. That was all the filmography. So, first thing you need to know about his music is that he is on Spotify, but only some of his songs, not all of his songs. You're actually best bet to find all of his stuff is to go on YouTube and search Pon Thanapon. Because there's like a million different profiles, and even on Spotify, he's listed under 2 different profiles, but with the same name. So as long as you type in Pon Thanapon, you'll find both of them.
Okay.
They are all OSTs, surprisingly.
Ooh.
I know. He also did, the only one that wasn't like an OST is he did the Call Me Your Brother project.
Yes. Who was he paired with?
So that was the thing is like I looked into it more and they weren't pairings. It was just like
groups, wasn't it?
It was like some of them were duos, some of them were trios. In some cases there was like 5 of them. It basically was a collection of boys and they did multiple things, which Thailand loves a good like collection of boys, so it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. But he had the cutest little styling and like if you like a ballad, you know, I recommend, but you have to look him up under Call Me Your Brother Pon. That's how you find that one.
Nice.
Yeah. And so then before that, the other musical experience that he gave us was, of course, Superboy. Let's talk about it. The time has come. We're going to talk about Superboy. First thing you need to know is about his name on Superboy. Yes. So this one doesn't make a lot of sense unless you know Thai. And specifically unless you know how to read Thai. So when they first romanize his name on the show, which they do romanize his name on Superboy because they like put it on the screen. Yeah. They romanize it as Pol, which the L in Thai, the like character that is an L sound, I guess is like the best way to describe it. Yeah. If it comes at the end of a word, you pronounce it as an N. So that's why that happened. And so if you're looking for Pon's content from Superboy, some of it is under Pol Superboy, not Pon Superboy.
Ridiculous.
So just heads up on that.
He romanizes his name Pon.
He changed it, after Superboy because the Pol thing was just like, I think, I don't know the whole story, but I have a feeling fans were like, this is weird and confusing.
You're like, pick a lane.
Yeah.
Which we should be used to the Thai changing their names.
But it's the same name. He just changed the romanization.
Right. Yeah. The spelling of it. Yeah. As I've learned more, Thai romanization is the stupidest thing that's ever created because like Chula, we pronounce it CHU, but it's actually spelled J with a J.
Well, because there are 2 CHs in, like, there's 2 characters that can make a CH sound, but it's pronounced the J because of the vowel that comes after it. It is like pronounced like Ju, which is more of like a CH sound than a Jula, right? You're not saying Jula, you're saying Jula. Yeah. Like you would say in like jewel, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's just so funny to learn to learn the actual Thai character and be like, oh.
Yeah.
Because that was the trouble I heard. Like even hearing it with the word for love, right? You hear some people pronounce it rock and some people pronounce it lock. And it's like,
it's technically somewhere in between the two is the pronunciation.
Well, and I was learning, my Thai teacher was telling me that like if you pronounce it with a hard R, it's a totally different word. It's like, I forget what the word is, but yeah, it's ridiculous.
But nobody actually thinks of it. If you say rock, like they know what you like. Even Thai people say rock.
Yeah.
Well, even Thai people say rock, right? Like it's it's an interesting phenomenon because there's a guy on TikTok, also IG, that does Japanese content, and he himself is Japanese, and he was born and raised in Japan, and then like moved to the UK like later as a grown up, speaks fluent English, all this stuff, and he constantly is pointing out all the stupid shit that like foreigners think, or the stupid shit that Japanese people tell foreigners that even Japanese people still do, right? And it's similar in Thai where they're like, well, that's technically a different word, but like Thai people will say it and they meet and it's fine, right? Like it's one of those like stupid shit things, right? Like one of the things this guy likes to point out is that like it doesn't matter if you put wasabi in your soy sauce, right? Like people will be like, you can't do that, you can't mix that, Japanese people don't do that. He's like, you can use your condiments however you want to eat your condiments. Like literally we don't care. Literally some of us do it. Like what?
It's one of those things where it's like you can't make fun of my brother, but I can make fun of my brother, right? It's like you can't do it, but I can.
Well, and this guy specifically likes to post a lot of videos of like people will take videos of foreigners doing shit in Japan and be like they're not following the rules, they're not whatever. And he's like, but Japanese people do that. Like, and he'll like ask his friends, he'll be like, have you ever done this? And they're like, yeah. Like, it's just people being mad at foreigners, like for being foreign, basically. Because
this reminds me, the amount of Thai people that I have seen eat pad Thai and like pad Thai, they're like, yeah, we eat pad Thai.
Yeah, but like they don't really, like they do, but they don't really. Like you're not going to like a street, like when they eat street food, they're not like, yes, pad Thai. Like it's definitely not as common, I would say. Like people equate pad Thai with Thailand, but I don't think when you're in Thailand, it's actually low key hard to find pad Thai.
Yeah.
Like all the Thai places we've eaten, like I don't recall ever really seeing it on a menu. There's like street food stalls that have it, but in touristy places, right? Like
it's like our equivalent of like nuggets on the menu. They probably all have it. You just like have to look for it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's not like, again, like it tastes the same in Thailand as it does in America. Like pad Thai specifically. Not everything. That's not true of all Thai food. It's very not true of all Thai food. Like khao soi is better in Thailand, specifically in the north. It is better in Chiang Mai. Pad Kaprao. Everybody in America gets pad kaprao wrong. It shouldn't be that hard, you guys. It shouldn't be that hard to get pad kaprao right. It's meat stir-fried with flavor, and it shouldn't be that hard to get it right. But like okay, I have talked to my Thai teacher Bo about this multiple times, and we both have the same beef. Is that like they make it wet in America? Like, why is it wet? It does what? Like, oh my god, it shouldn't be that hard to get pad kaprao right.
That brings it back to Pon, because his current show is all about pad kaprao.
I know. Yeah. So
that's fantastic.
Anyways, that was a tangent. We're talking about Superboy. Superboy is excellent. If you don't know what Superboy is, it was technically, and I did look this up because Star Hunter likes to go on and on about this, and every time they say it, I'm like, that doesn't feel true, right? Like, you know what I mean? Every time they've said it, I've been like, okay. But it really was the first boy band competition show in Thailand. It genuinely was. They love to say that on the show. They're like, this is the first show of its kind. And every time I'm like, but was
Star
it?
Hunter paved
really
the way. Because, it was what, 2019? Which in like Thai entertainment world was like 20 million years ago.
It was the end of 2019 into 2020, which like so sad. It actually like they won and became a group in February of 2020. And of course COVID happened in March of 2020. So these poor boys, like they were just like, the world could have been theirs. So Superboy was a competition show. There were 12 boys that were competing to be in this group of 5. And of course,
to be your Superboy.
yeah. And of course, this is where we also got the elements minus Buzz. Buzz was the only element that wasn't on Superboy. And Pon was, and so it was a series, just like how we got Laz Icon, right? Like similar to Laz Icon, for example, if you watched that. And each week they had these like, not challenges, but similar to, like any other singing show that you watched, where they sort of make them sing and they have different like themes.
Yeah.
And then there are judges and then there are winners.
The judges were a whole mood.
The judges were incredible.
Superboy.
And one of the judges actually was Mix, who choreographs for GMMTV and all the Laz One boys, including still like Dao Off-Road, and like Boston Diamond and people like that, right? And he choreographs for like all of GMMTV.
Yeah.
Like he did Fourth Song. He did Candidate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Pon was the most winning boy on Superboy, because once we got past the sort of like initial episodes where they like shrunk down the competition, they started giving them little like medals, and they would have to wear them on the opening number, which the opening number was always them singing the song Superboy by SB5.
I was gonna say, which was an SB5 song.
It was an SB5 song because they were supposed to be like the little brother group to SB5. That was the point. And the way that the show worked is like the SB5 boys each had like a little team of boys. They were all assigned to a boy, remember?
Yeah.
They all had
mentors.
they like each of the SB5 boys was a mentor to like a little group of these hopeful Superboys, right? And so you had the opportunity to vote for them at the end. If they were in the bottom, they would perform, and you had to vote for them, and it was like like any other sort of competition show you would watch. And Pon had the most low medals, and if you were in the top each week, you were in the group that got to perform the like Superboy song in the opening number, and you had to wear your low medals when you went to go like perform the opening number.
I don't even remember what Pon's final performance was.
So
who was he paired with?
So the way the final performances worked is they got to pick their own person that they wanted to perform with. So it wasn't that they got paired or anything. It was that they had the opportunity. So anybody that made it to the final got to do sort of like a number, and they could have a special guest if they wanted. And so they all sort of like went in different directions. And so Sweet Sweet Bang Tanateep picked his his sister like danced with him. Yeah, which was really cute, but he sang with Copter. Yeah, so he kind of got like double duty, like double whammy, right? Like
he was very cool.
It was very cute. And I don't know how he pulled that off. Maybe because she was just dancing.
Yeah.
I don't really know how he did that, because God picked his mom. But, like, he didn't have a special, like, person. His special person was his mom.
Sure.
And I don't know how did Tanateep get to have, like, an extra guest and his sister? Maybe because his sister just danced. Like, she didn't sing with him. I don't know. I don't know how he pulled that off, but he did it. And then Bank Tora, chose Bonus, who had been eliminated very early on. Bonus got eliminated real fast, you guys. Bonus, fun fact, was not a Superboy. Like, he didn't make it to the final group.
He's my Superboy.
People don't realize that. Like, I definitely assumed he made it to the final group. He did not. Pon, of course, made it to the final group because he was incredible on this show.
Who was his pair?
So the show was really good. He ended up with
it Tones?
No, it wasn't. Like, it wasn't a pair. He got to choose a special guest, right? Like,
no,
they didn't get, like, paired.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, who was his, like... Or no, was it...
So he ended up picking...
Fergie? No, Fergie was in the top.
Fergie was well, obviously he was a boy. But the only person that chose another Superboy contestant was Bank Tora. Yeah, was Bank Boy.
He was so smart.
Yeah.
Because, like, the chemistry.
Yeah.
Who was it?
So,
y'all, Superboy is all subtitled.
It is. You
like,
should really watch it.
episode.
It has its own
channel.
Yes.
Superboy, all one word. It was so good. I Am Your Superboy will get stuck in your head on repeat. I am your Superboy.
Okay, potentially he didn't choose someone.
We need to go back and watch the final episode of Superboy.
No, I'm looking at it. It's just him.
He just performed.
He was like, I'm amazing and perfect.
He is.
And no one
It's
can touch me.
It's so true.
Yeah. I mean, Mix did perform with him. He had like a whole host of dancers.
I was going to say, is that also the one that is Gel? Or is it a seven boy?
There were multiple people that actually danced in the background of Superboy. Gel was a dancer in the background of Superboy, and so was
Yo-Yo?
No, not Yo-Yo. Oh my gosh, I can see his face. Black hair, little one. He does all the dance covers. His name is escaping me.
I know, me too. I can see it too. Oh,
his name is escaping me. I literally can see his face.
No, he was in the 7.
Which R.I.P. pouring out for the Lost Homies.
Oh my God, this is gonna drive me crazy. And
no, I know, me too. I have to. Yeah. I don't know why I can't remember. I can see his face, and he's the sweetest boy. I truly cannot remember his name. Pa. Yeah.
Alan. He had like 2 names for some reason.
Yeah, Pa.
Yeah.
Anyways. So if you look at the background of Superboy, you'll see a bunch of dancers. You might see people you recognize. Gel from last one dance back there.
Yeah.
Mix performed with most of them.
Yeah.
Superboy is pretty great. I highly recommend it. It's subtitled. It has its own YouTube channel. You can watch every episode, every part. I've rewatched Superboy multiple times.
For so many reasons.
Yeah. So
fantastic.
That's Pon's music. Highly recommend. 1 million out of 10.
Did he do any cover? Like, does he have a YouTube channel or anything that has covers? Shocking. He's a huge BTS fan.
As far as his IRL friends, he is still friends with the Superboy boys. Like, he hangs out with Jet every now and then, who also is
Beyond Cloud.
Yeah, is Beyond Cloud now. But then he left Beyond Cloud. But he was Beyond Cloud. And then he also is still friends with Bank Tanateep, who was his first partner. Yes.
They just storied today Pon was at a Project Mon performance.
Yeah.
Which I think
He's
is so
also
cute.
friends with some of the former Wabi Sabi artists, which I thought was interesting. I didn't really know about that crossover, but I think it's like K-pop friends, right? Because all of them are like real big into K-pop.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just very interesting. His school is very interesting to me. So he did go to Thammasat. He graduated the Faculty of Science and Technology, but he also went to St. Andrews, which I didn't know he went to St. Andrews because when you look it up, the way that, like, if you look at his English profile, what they say on the profile is, hold on. What they say on the profile is really weird. Like, it says Srivikorn School.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. Like, I looked it up to see where it was because I was still trying to figure out his hometown at that point. And it turns out that that's a campus of St. Andrews.
Oh.
Yeah. So, like, you might not know he went to St. Andrews, but he did. I didn't either until I looked it up and I realized, oh, that's just a campus. Yeah.
Interesting. Is it outside of Bangkok?
No, it's still in Bangkok. It's just, yeah.
Another campus on the other side of town?
No, it's not.
It's on St. Andrews
Yes,
campus.
yeah.
Oh, interesting. It's like
it's
a
all
college,
the same
I
thing.
guess.
It's all the same thing, yeah.
Interesting. They just don't
That
call
was
it St.
his like
Andrews.
middle school.
Oh.
No, they still call it St. Andrews just for some reason, like whoever made his profile, whenever they decided
wanted to be
potentially they
very
just didn't speak
specific.
English or something, and they were like they just Googled it and they just copied and pasted or something.
I
I
see.
don't know. His fan club is Thanapon Place Official on Twitter.
Ooh.
Doesn't get updated all that often. Also is not on IG. So if you want it, you're going to have to go to Twitter. That being said, they don't even have a profile for him. Thanapon Thailand FC, which it's Thanapon 2 N's TH, is pretty well updated and posts like on the daily. So
Nice.
just for some reason, it's not like technically his official. I don't know. I don't know why. Don't ask me.
Interesting.
And then last but not least, he does have a brand. Kind of. Last release from the brand was in 2021. So
He's been a little busy.
I guess he's been kind of busy since 2021. But it is, of course, heart length. We are wearing these shirts right now. They're really high quality.
Yeah.
And now, of course, we can tell the story of This is the first merch I ever ordered, and it was my like first adventure of ordering shirts. And so the way you did it is I had to order it online, like line the app, not on the internet, but like online.
Yeah.
And I had to like send a message because this was like back in the day. This genuinely was like 2021. Yeah. Cause we did it when the shirts came out. I did it. Mm-hmm. And, I viscerally remember the moment he lined me back and it was like him. Right. And I was just so shook. I was like, oh my God, he's talking to me right now. Oh my God. And then I like sent him the money. And of course it shows you like that person's name on the bank. And I was just like, I had a whole conversation with him about ordering these shirts. Like he had to put my name on the package. When it came, it was like handwritten out. Oh my God. And it was like the most fun. It was like the most fun thing that best experience ever.
That was wild.
1 million out of 10.
I know. I remember us talking about it and being like, this is the craziest experience ever. Yeah,
that you just... Honestly, the first time I ever ordered Sobiohei was like really early on in like Yin War's career. And I remember sending money directly to War. Like it says like Wanarat Ratsamirat. Yeah. And I was like... What? I was like having like a mental breakdown. I was like heaving. Like,
Yeah. I do know that Pon also does some kind of food thing, or he did.
So
he had brownies.
He had for like a minute. Yeah, but it's not an active thing. Like it doesn't even have a page.
Because a lot of these people do things with family. Like I know Mew and his sister made brownies and like sent them off. Like First of Jaw First does food,
no, but Jaw has food.
First also has food. But it's like on and off, like you were saying. Like I think during COVID, a lot of these people were like, "I have a kitchen, I can make food," and you can like so easily grab things to people.
Yeah,
that
and I guess there's like less regulation in Thailand, right? Like you can just like
yeah.
I guess we have pop-up kitchens here in America, but those I think have to be regulated. Like if you're gonna sell it to consumers,
I can't tell because I know
like there's bake sales.
Yeah,
I wonder what the like level you have to be at in America to like get regulated. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know. Yeah, like I don't know how easy it is to like sign up for Uber Eats.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, there's all those ghost kitchens, but I know they're in like real kitchens.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah.
But yeah, that's everything I know about Pon. It was very exciting to get to talk about him.
That is cool. I didn't know really much about him factual. I knew like a little, like I know he's a huge BTS fan because like he's constantly posting BTS stuff. Of course I knew about his brand because we've had these shirts for forever. But yeah, I've never paid much attention to him otherwise. I will say he's killing it in This Love Doesn't Have Long Beans.
Yeah.
Him and Psylub have such great chemistry.
They do have good chemistry.
I enjoy watching them as a couple. He's funny watching their ship work, watching them IRL, because he's so like, he's a little timid, but he has these moments of like boldness.
I mean, it's just like the
really
characters
funny.
in Pit Babe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, which we've said before that a lot of times when these boys are playing that role and doing the fan service and doing all of that, you guys, they're just playing their characters but stamping their own name on it, right? Like, anytime there's conflict, if you'll notice, I'm just saying, look for the pattern. If you haven't figured this out yet, I don't blame you, but if there's about to be a conflict in the show, if it's a currently airing show, they themselves will start like having a little bit of conflict, like in the fan service or like on Twitter or something.
It's so wild.
And it'll make people like get all like, oh my God, they're fighting, they don't like, or whatever, right? Like this happens with everybody. Mossbank are the masters of it. It happened with Pon Thanapon during Never Let Me Go. Do you remember the whole thing where like everybody was all up in arms because everybody thought that Pon was so upset because Poon was going to eat without him, and then they went to go eat together because they needed to make time for each other, and there was just all this stuff. And literally in Never Let Me Go, it was because they were like separated, whatever, right? It was after Pon, spoiler, Pon's mom has died, and Puin runs off, right, to like go fix the hotel, but Pon is still like low-key stalking him, and it was right before they were about to come back together on that rooftop. All of this started going down. So like, listen,
I mean, the best also
as a Pon, if a Pon Puin Delulu is sitting here telling you like,
well, the other good example is Joongdunk, because Joongdunk have been beefing all the way going into Heart Killers, because in Heart Killers they're very much like
enemies to lovers. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, just
they IRL workshop it.
Start paying attention to what's happening in the show, and that's what's gonna happen to your ship in real life.
Fantastic.
It is what it is. Like, listen, again, we all agree and know we're playing an intricate game with each other. We're playing a role-playing game with each other. Like,
I'm obsessed with it.
Let's all just accept it.
Okay, tell us your favorite thing about Pon. Tell us if you know
also
who
if
Pon
you know
is.
anything else. Yeah.
Also, tell us who else you want us to deep dive into.
Yeah.
It's
we take
fun.
requests.
We do. We'll get to bonus and God eventually.
We will get to God. My favorite part is that God was the first request. He was literally the first request we got. And it's trust me, it's coming. Don't worry.
That'll be a 10-hour-long episode. You're like, I don't know his birthday. When's his birthday? What?
June.
In
How
June.
Dare you?
In June, he was born and blah, blah, blah.
Like, the year of our Lord, 1997.
It'll be fantastic. But until then, this has been Let's Talk BL. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow all things Let's Talk BL at Let's Talk BL.